Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're setting the stage for an absolute paradigm shift in how we approach performance management. We're going to dismantle the traditional, outdated ways organizations track their goals, and we're replacing them with a dynamic, active steering mechanism straight out of the control phase of Lean Six Sigma. If you're looking to transform your performance indicators from, boring spreadsheet metrics into a truly proactive system that essentially guarantees operational excellence, well, you are in exactly the right place. Most managers drive their business the exact same way they drive a car, by staring constantly into the rearview mirror. They look at monthly reports, financial data, and end-of-quarter defect rates. But by the time those numbers arrive, the damage is already done. In the control phase of Lean Six Sigma, we do not manage by looking backward. To achieve true operational control, you must understand the critical difference between lagging indicators, your results, and leading indicators, the predictive behavioral metrics that determine those results before they happen.
Okay, let's dive into this with Section 1, deconstructing KPIs and moving from Y to X.
To really grasp how we take control of our processes, we have to look at the fundamental DNA of Lean Six Sigma. We are shifting our entire focus from the output to the inputs. And at the heart of this is a simple but incredibly powerful formula. Y equals F of X. The Y, that's your final output, your result. The X, well, that represents the inputs, the steps, and the actual behaviors in your process. Here is the absolute fundamental truth we just have to accept. The final output, the Y, is entirely dependent on how the process is executed. You literally cannot directly manage the Y. You can only manage the X's. So let's break down the two types of metrics we use to track this exact relationship.
On the left side of that equation, we have our Result KPIs, otherwise known as lagging indicators or output metrics. These are your standard, everyday business metrics. They measure the final outcome. We're talking total volume shipped, final error rate, revenue, customer satisfaction scores. Now, they are incredibly concrete and super easy to capture. But here is the harsh reality about lagging indicators. They only tell you exactly what already happened. Because they measure the past, it's completely impossible to influence them after the fact. I mean, if a customer is unhappy with a defective product, that metric is locked in. The damage is done.
And that brings us to the right side of the equation, Predictive Behavioral KPIs, or leading indicators. These are your process metrics, your X's. These metrics measure the specific activities, the human behaviors, and the inputs that directly drive the outcome. Think of things like the percentage of operators perfectly following a standard operating procedure, machine maintenance compliance, or maybe specific employee training hours. Now sure, these are definitely a bit harder to define than lagging indicators, but here is their absolute superpower. They tell you what will happen. And most importantly, they are highly controllable by the team in the present moment. Moving right along to Section 2, the SMART filter, and how we prevent dashboard clutter. Before we start tracking every single little behavior on the factory floor, we need a mechanism to keep things focused so our huddle boards don't just turn into unusable messes. To do this, every single metric, especially our behavioral KPIs, must pass the SMART filter. They've got to be specific, so there's absolutely no ambiguity about what we're looking at. Measurable, meaning we can attach a clear number to the behavior. Achievable by the team right there on the floor. Highly relevant to that ultimate why we're trying to control. And finally, time-bound, usually measured on a daily or shift-by-shift basis. Firing off this exact framework quickly guarantees we aren't wasting time tracking useless data. It keeps the whole operation incredibly lean and agile.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next point in Section 3, a practical case study with BlueprintRM&co Premium e-commerce.
Let's look at a high-stakes logistics scenario here to really prove the absolute superiority of this method. Here's our goal, our ultimate why. We're launching a high-end design gadget line, and the standard is completely unforgiving. We must achieve a 99.8% perfect order rate. That basically means zero shipping defects. When customers are paying a premium, a wrong item or a damaged box is simply unacceptable.
But here is the trap. A traditional manager will look at this goal and say, okay, let's track the defective package count, and they'll review that number at their big Friday afternoon management meeting. This is a classic Result KPI. It is totally reactive. Think about the huge danger here. If a catastrophic bad batch occurs during the Tuesday morning shift, the manager only finds out about it on Friday. By that time, hundreds of defective packages are already sitting on delivery trucks. You've already failed the customer.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how a Lean Six Sigma black belt completely flips this scenario. The black belt knows they can't magically manage the Friday defect count, so they implement 2 predictive leading KPIs right there on the daily huddle board where the team actually meets every morning. Step 1, 100% adherence to the final barcode scan routine at the sealing station. Step 2, daily smart camera calibration completed before the shift even starts. These are highly specific, measurable behaviors. They are highly controllable inputs, the X's that directly guarantee the Y.
Let's watch this dynamic play out live on the floor. Monday, the target is set. Tuesday, normal operations. Both leading KPIs are sitting pretty at 100%. But on Wednesday morning, during the daily huddle, the team sees that leading KPI 1, that barcode scan routine, dropped to 80% during the previous night's shift. Because they are tracking behaviors daily, this acts as a massive early warning system. They know instantly that the final result KPI is in imminent danger. But they don't wait for Friday. They correct the behavior immediately on Wednesday morning, retraining the night shift operator right on the spot. So by Friday, the end-of-week report comes in, 0 defects achieved. The week's performance was saved because they actually steered the process while it was happening.
So, the crucial point is what we cover here in Section 4, the strategic value of predicting operational success.
Look, this isn't just about tweaking a few metrics on a whiteboard. It represents a monumental shift in an organization's entire operational philosophy. By replacing the traditional habit of reactive management with a genuinely proactive culture, you completely change the dynamic of your workforce. When you only track lagging indicators, you create this culture of reporting failures. Managers walk around asking, why did this go wrong? And frontline teams just feel blamed for things they couldn't possibly control in the moment. But when you empower frontline teams with behavioral metrics, you give them the actual tools to take ownership of the process. You build a system of predicting success. Teams can see exactly what behaviors they need to execute today to guarantee a win tomorrow. And for leadership, this delivers the ultimate prize, total boardroom stability, knowing that your operational success is engineered, not just left up to chance.
So ask yourself this, when you look at your own metrics tomorrow morning, are you truly predicting success or are you just reporting on yesterday's failures? For education and entertainment,